If everybody please stand. Scott will lead us in the pledge and follow back in with prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to meet and share, discuss and research and do the business of county and be with us that we might make wise decisions that would actually benefit our citizens. Be with us, keep us safe, keep us dry. Just be with us as we praise and lift up your name. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I appreciate everybody braving the fun weather out there. So hopefully we'll time this right and everybody will get out and we won't have a big downpour. So we have several things on the agenda, so we're going to jump right in. First up is the approval of the minutes from the February meeting. I know Debbie sent that out a while back. Is there any additions, corrections, or actions we want to take?
I wasn't here. I did not. Me.
All right.
If there are no corrections, I would make a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes.
I'll second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. All right, next on the agenda, I'm going to add in Corey to the agenda. That's all right. Going to add in Corey. He's got a couple things to discuss with us and
Good afternoon, council. The first item for you is a one pager minus my scribbles. It's front and back. Chris Williams is in the audience too, if I need to phone a friend. But this is in regards to the food and beverage award for the YMCA project. That award of $300,000 was granted in 2022. And there is a scope change. And so I spent the afternoon reviewing the original request that was presented to the Food and Beverage Advisory Committee, and then how their project has changed. And then I have a recommendation or a request for you to consider. In early 2022, it was a $1.6 million project. And there was just over 6,000 square feet dedicated to childcare. They asked the county for about $650,000 at that time. And the advisory committee and the county council landed on $300,000. And due to a variety of reasons, and I'll spare you the details, the project has shifted to a $4.1 million project because it involves much more than childcare. And the childcare space or the out of school time space is about 4,000 square feet. I think that obviously the Y would appreciate the 300,000. But I think we're somewhere around 150,000 would be my recommendation. Because of the number of years that have passed and because of the scope change, I would request that you award 150,000 to the project.
Food and beverage? I'm lost.
yeah, it was food
It's
it was a
not-
food
it
and
It was an
beverage
original
award
food and beverage
I know.
award.
back in
You're asking for an
2022. No.
Oh,
Modify.
We're asking to
Reduce.
vacate that original number of 300 and reduce it to 150 out of food and beverage.
I like that.
Sorry, Ken, I'm not adding, I'm subtracting.
It's a rare request.
Don't worry, I've got another one. Unrelated.
So basically you're asking for the council to go back and change the number from 300 to 150. Do we need to do, I mean, that's a difference, Joel, so I'm going to look at you. I mean, we need to vote to rescind our original vote and then take a motion for the second is
I think you could vote to modify the award.
just
to
modify,
150.
vote to modify would be
Yeah.
acceptable? Because I know it was wrapped into that, that package that we did all of the awards back in 2022. And yeah, that was the last time I was on the council that
I mean, if
last
there's a
year. So-
willingness to do more, I mean, it is a worthy project.
I guess
I wanted
so-
I wanted to give you a fair recommendation that wouldn't take too much of your time and have the best chance of passing.
I don't understand why, maybe because I didn't get this in advance to study and ask questions, but I don't understand why it's being reduced if the needs increased.
I
Well,
think the original scope, if I remember correctly, was a lot of different after-school type programs and things, and those have all been brought into Newcastle Community Schools. And so they're not as needed. This is more of an outside of school type program. Am I right, Chris? Is that my understanding?
Before, after, but you're right, day camp, for example, will fill up, for the very first day for the whole summer.
Chris, would you mind coming up? I'm sorry, just so we can catch, so we put this out to everybody. If you can just, thank you.
So, it's just anytime out of school. So right now, you can drop the kids off at 5:30 in the morning and the bus picks them up and, takes them to school from there. Then after school, like you said, the school does have that, but there would be a lot of, we have a lot of people coming in afterward. We'll have that in there as well. Day camp, for example, typically fills up that first day for almost the whole summer. And so that would give us approximately 40, 50 more spots for camp and things like that. So right now, we're actually, part of the camp is, we've got a tent and stuff like that. So like I said, that extra space would be huge for us, so.
Okay.
I know I was in a meeting with Chris and we sat at the same table earlier this week and he said something about downsizing. This is all starting to come together and make sense now. Okay, thanks for.
Any
Patience.
further questions for Chris or Corey in regards to this project and the request? Would anybody like to take an action right now on the request?
I've got questions.
Sure, go ahead.
I was not on the council in 2022. What was the original investment? Dollar,
1.6.
1.6 million.
and the new investment is 4.1 million.
Yeah, so let me go over that quickly.
And-
Again, the project presented in the funding round for the food and beverage was a $1.6 million project. And it was a 6,000 square foot addition
Mhm.
solely dedicated to childcare. The needs of the Y have changed over the last few years and they're doing other things outside of that space.
Sure.
And so it's now a 4,000 square foot building. The total project, not that addition, but the total project is 4.1 million. And so it's such a significant scope change.
Sure. That makes sense. And I understand the downsizing. I'm struggling with the huge increase in expenses. It makes me wonder if.
Look at item number 2 in the one pager.
That's the big.
Item 2 and 3, that's,
Those are big dollars for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And I completely understand that. And I guess I'm wondering if this is so far outside the scope of the original request that it almost seems like reducing from 300 to 150 on a $4.1 million project is so minor that is it even necessary for us to contribute food and beverage dollars to this project? That's where I'm at.
I think it is. The need is great, having sit on several meetings with school corporations still and youth organizations still. I think I think it's great. Next to substance abuse, childcare, and before and after school programs need our support.
my recommendation of 150,000 is reflective of that position right there. Instead of 300,000 to zero,
Right. We've taken other funded projects
Understood.
to zero. for
Understood.
lack of progress and
Mhm.
Yes.
massive scope changes.
Well, that was going to be my question because brought up is that I know that this is set now for 4 years. I mean, is this going to set? How soon is this ball going to start rolling, Chris?
When I step off the podium.
Because I think that's going to be the big question, because sitting it there just in perpetuity is not
And that's
ideal.
On the last page, it gives you a timeline there. The ground.
Thank you.
groundbreaking, Spring of 27, and the idea is to have it done by the end of that year, so.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Additional questions for either Corey or Chris? Well, anyone open to a motion?
I would make a motion to support the downsize because I do know that there's a strong need in this area and I'd hate to take it to zero.
Okay, I have a motion to amend the original award from 300,000 to 150, correct, Kenan?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I hear a second? Okay, motion fails for a lack of second. Do I hear any other action on this? Because as it stands, the original 300,000 still stands. Even though I don't know, Joel, since this is I guess that's a good question. The scope has changed.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to
Enough.
look and see what you originally approved in 2022 and whether. or
It
not
was just for
fall underneath that
childcare.
Umbrella.
Yeah. So this falls completely out. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
whether it stands or not. I mean,
We'd probably have to look at the minutes and look at exactly what was approved at that time and.
sure.
They didn't necessarily have to come back. They could have just sent the county a claim. And so, I mean, they've been more transparent than what any other project in terms of scope change. And then to take it from 300,000 to zero,
Doesn't feel right.
that doesn't feel right, but I don't have a vote either.
What was the time frame on the original project? Does anybody know?
The application,
It's come and gone.
so their application said, we asked the question, what is the project's current stage of development? They said in development, mapped out, but not fully developed. What is your anticipated timeline for starting the project? 1 to 2 years.
Is there a time frame we need? Can we table this to next month and get back to you after we looked at it, the past minutes of this a little more? I mean, is there a crunch? Okay.
No, there's no crunch.
Well, I move we table this till next month and so we can all take a better look at it.
I would second that.
I have a motion and a second to table this until a future meeting. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. So this matter is tabled until a future meeting.
Chris, are you available to answer their questions? Not now, but in between now and the next meeting?
Yeah, if you will, I'm sure most of us have it, but if not, just make sure Debbie has all your contact information so we can make sure I have the right emails and things. And she could get us out to everybody. That would be great, Chris. Thank you.
For those of us that weren't here, can you send us copies of the original request?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Joel, if you wouldn't mind, please look in to see how the scope change affects the original award.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, you're next up.
All right. Unrelated, right? So I gotta, but it involves money. A map, and this is an update on the Ready 2 grant for Memorial Park. We have state approval, the $500,000 grant. I've labeled this top sheet. This is the alignment that the grant request was built around and the associated budget. I didn't give you the budget, but that is $2.1 million. So the alignment of the water and the sewer was based on the FPBH analysis of the entire project, and that was paid for by the Community Foundation. And there were several alternatives in that analysis that looked at the water and sewer. And so I took this directly from there because that's what the grant application was based upon. Once we got state approval on the funding, I made a commitment to bring everybody together and have a conversation about we want to do the most possible for infrastructure in Memorial Park. And the result of those two meetings is this map. And so the highlighted area on the loop to get to McGrady Shelter, that is a water line. And then there's a stub across 100 North.
Yeah.
And that addition is $250,000. Now, there's another segment on this hard to read map. Bringing a line from an existing water line on Fairway Drive to the north, bringing the line south down to the superintendent's house. That is about 300,000. Those are additive. 250 for the McGrady Shelter Loop, 300,000 to bring water down to the south. In preparation for this presentation and talking to Mr. Malakote and also the commissioners this morning, my recommendation is to fund the McGrady Shelter Loop if you're interested. At 250,000.
With what?
Where's the money tree?
That's where I would look. I don't think you have one.
We don't.
And I'm understand that. And if you don't want to fund it, that's fine. We've fulfilled our commitment to do as much as possible for Memorial Park infrastructure while the contractors are there. But the original scope is here.
There's no water at McGrady?
It needs upgrades.
Oh, I thought there was water there and there's electric there.
No,
There's no water.
no.
What there is a,
Okay.
there is a restroom back there that is not for the pool. That would solve that problem too.
Porta potties cheaper than 350,000.
I'm sorry.
Porta potties, 250.
Yeah, 250 on that.
Debbie, food and beverage doesn't, I mean, it's virtually dry. I mean, it's all, I mean, we have money in the fund, but it's all appropriated.
I wanna say Bobby and I looked it up the other day. Bobby and I looked it up the other day, and I want to say there was about $70,000 or $80,000 in there after we took out everything that was appropriated.
Yeah. And that includes leaving the 300,000 for the Y. Okay. Yeah, that's what my guess was. I was thinking it was around 50 or 60, but I was pretty close. Yeah. When will you need these funds?
This year.
This year. Yeah.
The end of the year. My role in this project is, I get myself into interesting positions here. My role in this project is to move the Ready project forward. And so that's the urgency, is if we're going to do more than this, now is the time to make a decision. Because we want the water and sewer to be certainly bid this year and maybe built this year. And we're already up against we can get it bid this year. It may not get completed this year. So we want to draw down the money as quickly as possible. We want to be a good recipient of the ready funds. We want to continue to be a good recipient.
Corey, I don't see the sewer line on this map. Is it on a different map on this one?
No, we're only focused on water.
Okay.
Can't afford sewer. Sewer's very, very expensive.
So that line, that green line on the original map is not being funded?
It is being funded. That's part of the original project.
Okay.
So the top sheet labeled Ready to Grant is a $2.1 million project.
Yes.
That includes engineering and construction for both water and sewer. This alignment.
Makes sense.
Commissioner Dellinger and Park Board representatives and city utility representatives met twice. 4-H Center participated as well. We met with United Consulting, and in between the two meetings, we come up with a variety of concepts. And the most expensive concepts we didn't bring to you because we know there's not a money tree. I mean, ideally, there would be water all through the park, north of 100, and do the McGrady Loop. Steve, I can't remember. That was about $1 million. It was about $1 million. Yeah.
Like 1.2, I believe.
So there was a great, healthy discussion and good planning over basically January and February, with the engineer offering informed budget estimates. And after having a conversation with Commissioner Dellinger and then the Board of Commissioners this morning, having a conversation with Chad, this is how we landed on, if you all want to do something, McGrady Loop is $250,000. If you want to get water down from Fairway Drive, it's $300,000. If you don't want to do anything because finances, then we will move forward with this project here. And you have my thanks sincerely either way.
On the original map, I don't recall exactly the waters that to supply Wildwood addition to. No, it ends right there at 50. Is that part of the plan?
No,
No.
the reason why it's configured that way is because
It's gonna go out.
we need the system to be looped.
Right.
If you just run the water line up the hill with a
Right.
dead end, it's not good.
So there's a water line on 50 North.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we bring in 67,000 a month in food and beverage. At least that's the last 2 years post-COVID. And we're at 70, so you can do the math. The money will be there by the time that they do it. It's just a matter of this council saying yea or nay to, is it a priority project?
Could you repeat that, Kenan, please?
We bring in 67,000 in food and beverage the last 2 years per month. 800,000 per year. Debbie can check that. That's what we've been averaging the last 2 years unless it's dropped.
So
So
we have,
That's calculated into your.
no, it's not.
Into
We-
what?
we-
Well, we went up until, February, we're
February,
through February,
no.
so that's what we had in there as a February.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
but
I mean, we're running low, I mean, it's.
Sure.
we have
we
debt
got
service
payments and
too.
everything.
Yeah, we have debt service out of that,
sure,
right.
right.
It's
Six-
my understanding
the
that when
free-
all of this was approved, we really kind of over appropriated a little bit out of food and beverage, knowing that the monies would be coming in. Isn't that correct, Debbie?
We did.
Yeah, when this project
It-
from
it-
Ready
it was-
to and the housing addition
Yeah,
was approved by the council prior to me being on it, you guys had overextended
Uh-huh.
knowing
Yep.
that funds are, well, some of them did, not
right. Yeah.
you,
I wouldn't.
some of the others
Yeah,
that
we-
joined.
it was, we
Three of
calculated,
you did.
it's low risk.
So, but I think net, we're only somewhere in the 30 something 40-ish range, right? Month is about what we average. Net, by the time we pay our debt service.
69,000.
Yeah, but we pay our debt service out of it too. So, the free cash. Yeah.
I move to table this till next month when we discuss the YMCA as well.
I'll second that.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion to table the water park? I guess the only thing I will say in discussion, because I was actually going to ask Steve to weigh in from the commissioner side. So if you guys can willing to do that next month when we discuss it, or in the future when we discuss it, because I would like to know because this is the commissioner's project in my opinion, and I would like to know where the commissioners are on it. Because I think I want them to be the driving factor since they're the one that's going to be ultimately responsible for it. So, if you can, please, next month or whenever we untable this, kind of give us the commissioner's 2 cents from your perspective. I unfortunately wasn't able to listen in on the commissioners meeting this morning. I was working my day job, so I don't know what was said there, and what, if anything, was decided, but obviously I would like to know from the commissioner's angle.
All the commissioner did today was give Corey approval to approach us.
Okay.
They didn't you can correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but what I remember is you just gave Corey the permission to come and you didn't say yay or nay to any of it.
There was no yay or nay other than give him permission to
Right.
come and ask. But there was a caveat that Senator Shreves has reached out that there was some additional monies available at the state possibly, and that some counties had asked for some additional monies. Henry County had not asked for anything. So there was a couple of projects that could be considered at that point. And I actually wanted to, if this got approved and those stubs came across, to run that additional loop through the park was one of my asks. If that would work, and that would get infrastructure through the entire park facility if that came to fruition. But without the stubs, I had nothing to connect to.
Okay.
So if we approve this part, then that gave us the stubs to run it all the way through, because I knew we didn't have the 1.2 or 1.3 million.
This doesn't give you the stubs? The original
If
project
you
does
just-
not?
If you just do that loop and that's all you do,
Okay.
then no, it won't. If you do the.
It's the other stub over by the
300,000 instead of the two.
Stub from
Then you
Fairway.
get
the stub for the superintendent's house is
And
the
this
important
one-
one to
this
do
one-
that project.
This
Okay.
one right here.
Yes,
too,
yeah.
Where you take it across 100 to the current.
Yeah, it's basically
that-
right behind the Smith building.
That stub by the Smiths building is not part of the original project?
No.
No,
Okay.
So that's why that was crucial to get those two stubs, because at least I had a
Yes.
starting and stopping point to make that other loop if we get this other funding.
Is the
can we,
funding,
can we talk to
We can. I just hadn't had a chance to
With-
reach out to
with-
find out what that,
Representative
was.
Shreves to see if there's any money available?
because I
Because
know.
what I'd hate to happen is us spend a lot of money and then based upon that's happening and then that doesn't happen.
True.
I mean, and I agree with you. If there is money, we should need to do this in concert,
Mhm.
but maybe
Well,
by,
trust me, if you want to hand out the 1.2, 1.3 million to finish the whole thing, I'll be thrilled.
well,
Because that gets infrastructure. through
I
the
don't think
entire
it's a matter
park.
of want.
I know.
It-
Like Bobby said.
And I
many trees fell
understand
down
that.
in the weather.
is
Yeah,
there a
yeah,
time
the money
frame on
tree
the
fell
money
down
from
recently.
that Shreve was
I'm not
talking?
sure. I know that I had talked to the expo board because they were also going to ask for possibly the other building. So I
Gotcha.
don't know how much money is there in that pile.
Yeah.
Is there,
no.
how do we find out? You said Henry County didn't ask for it. How did these other counties know about
I
it?
did not know anything about it until I got an email from Jefferson Shreves' office.
Why we didn't ask?
Brianna had gotten one from the expo board, same thing. She went to there was a seminar thing where he said that some counties had asked, some had not, and Henry County had not. And I don't know where they found this pile of money, but there was a possibility that we could ask for some additional funding. I don't know. It may be $100, it may be 50 million. I don't know. So
It's not 50 million.
I'm just saying
One
that
can dream, Kenan.
it was just a proposal to request. So that was kind of my thought, was if we could piggyback off of that, since I knew there wasn't the money to complete the entire project. And you can ask Corey, I lobbied hard for water throughout the park, but when that final number came in, I knew there was no way we could do it.
So we don't know if it's federal or state money.
I'm assuming it's Fed, since he's,
Be a lot
It's
of,
coming from-
lot of hoops attached to that.
so I don't know where that pile is coming from or how much it is. That was just what was said.
And you don't know the deadline.
No.
If we do find out deadline and this group needs to get together for a special meeting or something, we would definitely be interested in doing it.
So Corey, I saw you raise your hand, so please.
I think based on the discussion and certainly respect the need to table, right? I think it's in the best interest of the Ready To project for us to move forward.
Certainly.
And so that will be my intention. To go ahead and start the engineering on that, to go ahead and start design on that. And then if you all find the funding,
Add it in.
we can add it in maybe later.
How much later do you estimate that it could be added?
Well, that I don't know, but
It's-
I'm nervous in terms of the information that you're gonna find between now and April. I don't know what that information is gonna be. And if we continue to wait on the design, we won't get the project
Right.
bid this year.
Well, hopefully we'll have the answers to all the questions
To
we
put a
have
T
with
in
next
right
few
there
weeks.
Instead of an elbow and.
Yeah.
Well, one
cap
thing
it,
we
we'll
know
Worry about it later.
with inflation on these infrastructure and engineering projects, it's going to do nothing but escalate with inflation. It will never be cheaper than to do it now if we can find the funds legitimately.
And I agree. And that was the comment that Corey made to me. That was the reason in going in and doing it now, even though the other funds weren't there. But it's as cheap as it may be now, it's still 300,000 and 250,000.
But yeah, I mean, if you do
Significant
both
amount
of
of
those
money.
options, it's $575,000.
Yeah, it's still a significant amount of money. So, all right, we have a motion. Any further discussion before we take a vote on the motion?
Yeah, Chad,
Go right ahead.
I left the expo board in October.
Okay,
I think that's far enough that I won't have to abstain anymore on anything that touches the expo. Okay,
perfect.
thanks.
All right, so,
Expo.
all right, so we have a motion
They
on the
renamed
table to
it.
table this water project at the Memorial Park. We've had any further discussion before we take a vote? All those in favor of tabling this till a future meeting, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Thank you, Corey. Next up, we have additional appropriations. So Debbie's given us a full list of all the additional appropriations. Almost feel like I want to start from the bottom up. Thanks for putting that one at the top, Debbie. Yes, so basically the commissioners have requested $421,730 because of the building liability, which I'm sure everybody's well aware of. Courts have requested,
Back up.
Yeah.
That's raises. That's what we took
Oh.
out, general liability for raises.
for raises.
Yeah, this isn't,
Because we did the raises after you guys had adopted the budget, so we had to
mhm.
put the raises in. So
Everything but
instead
the
of
bottom two.
Each line item, we took it out of one line. So that's what your two county general,
These are all, so all of these are the raises. I'm sorry, I stand
Except the
corrected.
rainy day fund.
Except the rainy day funds at the bottom. Okay, so these are all to accommodate for the raises that were put in place this year. So the commissioners, $421,730. Courts Casa is $3,489. CCD is $100,000. Park Rental Fund, $5,000. $3,000 in the, or $5,000 in the events, $3,000 in plumbing. MBH Highway, $124,776. Lit Correctional, $750,000 in inmate medical, and $138,763 in jail maintenance. Lit EMS, $4,390. Lit Judicial, $10,244, and E911, $16,024. So there, I think we can stop with that and we'll talk about the other two. So
All of these were for salaries.
correct, this all had, well, not necessarily salaries, but this had to do with the budget where you had over
Right.
budgeted.
We had over budgeted more than what departments had
absolutely.
submitted,
Yep.
so we couldn't increase. And we're gonna try to fix
That's
that
just-
this year.
That's just to cover that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
I move.
hang on.
we'd have to add it up. Yeah, I don't.
No, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got it broke down by department.
That's okay. He said 1.6, 1.7.
Yeah, I would guess that, my quick math. Okay,
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
Second.
so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion about these additional appropriations to accommodate for the budget?
I have a question, Joel, since it's in an ordinance, because we have to now do ordinance, do they have to do all of them in one motion for everything, or do they do them by sections and have to sign them?
They can do it by section, I think. I think that's fine.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries unanimously. All right, so the next two are what we discussed in our meeting last month. With the additional increase in the max levy, we were going to take and set aside these funds for the highway department and the IT department. These funds were going to be set aside under the rainy day fund. And so then they would have to come and ask for those, out of those funds. So, but it's under the rainy day fund, which is under the council budget. So any questions, thoughts, or action that needs to be taken on these?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. I think I heard everybody in that one. Okay, so next up, we have a transfer from,
Do public health.
Yeah,
We
there's,
didn't do the
there's
public
more.
health,
oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was just,
Aries.
And, Memorial Park Rental.
I apologize. I thought that's backing pages were all together. So, all right, so the health department, again, is this,
This is request from them. I gave you guys a sheet when I came in today. It's on a different one. I think Jason's here. He can answer questions, but these are all.
It's on the first pile that she gave us. It's a,
Yep.
As
If you
to,
see
I
it.
don't know why he's requesting. They were just, they were requested. I don't really have an answer for you why he's asking for them.
all right, well,
Well, first time meeting most of you, the administrator at the health department. I think you're looking at $151,000 appropriation. That is leftover money from our Health First Indiana Fund 1161 account. That we are just reappropriating for 2026's expenses. So that's money straight from the state that they're providing to us through Health First Indiana.
okay, so that fund is obviously that's going to go away in the future. There's just, these are funds, maybe not,
No, HFI, it got reduced.
it got
you
reduced.
guys,
Got
but,
reduced quite a bit.
Over half.
okay.
Hopefully it'll
So,
stay roughly where it's at for at least a few years.
okay, so you're just asking for these to be put in, but there is funds in that account already, so there's nothing. Okay,
So it's not additional appropriations.
Yes,
it's
it
re-
is an
it's
additional.
Okay.
it was an unbudgeted, but it's still, it's a non-reverting fund that there's still funds available in.
Right.
It's what they did not spend out of those funds last year. Is that what you
Mhm.
said?
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any further questions or actions on this one?
I make a motion to approve those additional appropriations from existing health first monies.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. The next one actually is health too.
The city road free,
Yep.
that is, which is Aries money.
Ah,
And I have to advertise it. I have to advertise it the way it is in our system. So that's why
It's different. I should have put on there for you guys that it was Aries, but we have to put, they changed all the rules on us.
Yep.
So that's why it says
State's great
city
at that.
drug-free money, but it is Butch's Aries money.
Can I
yes, go right ahead.
the first page for the health department was the total of 151,515.08. The second page is 15,896. If you look at the page that has it all in it, the other packet, the grand total for the health department was $167,411.
We just vote on the 151.
Yeah, we just voted on the 151 because that's the motion you'd take. So this would be
The other 15.
the other 15 that they're asking for additional appropriations in 1161.
Yeah, they were all together. They were submitted two different letters, but they're all together on the form.
So we need to do the 15,000 now.
I'll make a motion to approve the additional appropriation for the health department for 15,000.
It was here.
It was here. We're
It
not
was
making,
here what he did.
even though the motion said 150, is that okay?
I think
Jill?
Kenan said the 151 in the motion. That's
Why I asked.
Yeah.
That's why we're asking. Yeah, I think he did say that in his motion. So I
He
think we do
did say
need a
that in his
second.
motion.
We do need so I've got a motion by Bobby. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Oh, Aries.
Okay, so now we have the Aries, which this is something we do every year. With 71,477.57.
Is Butch, are you the director or whatever that title is?
Right here.
We can relate to that. Okay, close enough. Okay, your sign says director. We get $5 raise.
I'll make a motion to approve the additional appropriations for officially a city drug-free community, also known as Aries.
I'll second. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right. Thanks, Butch. All right, so now we need to get to the transfer for the health department. The health department is requesting to transfer $3,458.59 from registered nurse to public health nursing supplies.
Make a motion to approve.
You have a motion? I have a second.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. All right, Bill. Newcastle Little League. All right,
Hi, everyone. How are you today?
good.
Good. All right. My name's Aaron Neal. I am with Newcastle Little League, but I'm coming to you tonight not as an official of the league, but as a coach of the league and a father in the league. I was here back over the summer to just talk about the construction and the projects we do have going on right now. In the summer, I gave you guys a presentation of, hey, in 2017, we were at 225 kids in our league. And there was a line chart, and it just kept going up and up. Our registration is still currently open. Our season starts in 5 weeks. We just went north of 480 kids. So it's really, really cool. But as you guys know, growth does come with challenges. One thing we do, we stretch from every corner of the county. On my team personally, I have 2 kids from Knightstown. Another guy has a kid from Cowan. I mean, we touch every school, every inch of Henry County, part of Rush County even. With that said, we are still, the one thing that hasn't changed is we're outgrowing our facilities. So I'm here tonight to say that we're building a 3rd field. We are building a concession stand. We have the capacity to do it. We just don't have the funds to do it, like everything else, and I get that. We have broken ground. We started a lot of the work as it is right now. I am asking for 50,000 out of food and beverage that would complete the phase 1 of our project. If you want a timeline on it, ground has already been broken. We have contractors lined up. Phase one should be done by the end of the summer.
What is phase one? I'm
Phase-
assuming if there's a phase one, there's a phase two.
There's a phase one and phase two. Phase one is batting cages and third field. Phase two is concession stand. So we have the funds to do internal work ourselves as a board. Dirt work, contractors, concrete, fencing, all of that, we do need help with. And I would say by the end of the summer, we should have the third field built and the concession stand started.
Where are you building this at?
I'm so sorry.
Are you building it at the current location?
Yeah, at Newcastle Little League at Main and I Avenue.
Right. Are you up the hill? I mean, where do you add another field?
So our plan right now is, I mean, you're familiar with it.
Yes,
Upper field, lower field,
Right.
concession stand up by the Parker Playground.
right.
Third field is going to go between Upper and Parker School and that parking area.
Okay.
Of course, we're going to, remove parking. We're going to tear that concession stand down and we're going to put a new one right in the center of all three fields. And what this is also going to do, Mr. Gray, have you driven through there recently?
Yeah, I get my
Okay.
haircut right
Um,
across from it.
The way it is, so the pass through, but between everything, it's a miracle nobody's gotten run over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a restroom on one side, there's batting cages on the other, and my son doesn't look. He doesn't listen. That's just kids. Right now, like I said, we've gotten ground broken. We have barricades set up blocking that pass through, and people have, every day they take them down. We have to put them back up. I've seen it before where they've driven, when we had batting cages there, they've driven around the batting cages over into the Parker Schools playground area to cut through. It happens. What this project will do, it'll block all of that off. It includes fencing to block everything off. Just makes the entire facility safer. And also keeps us right there. I'm a baseball guy. I love Little League. I'm in it for more than just my son. I mean, a matter of fact, my favorite memory as a coach or my favorite moment doesn't even involve my son. I want to see this. I mean, this league has meant everything to me when I was a kid. I see what it's done. I got away from it for a while and it's brought me back. I want that to continue. I want it to continue for years to come. Unfortunately, we are outgrowing where we're at.
What team do you coach?
I coached the Pirates this year.
Our
So-
our son was a
Mr.
pirate. Our son was a pirate.
I'm a glutton for
I make a
punishment.
motion to, no.
I'm a glutton for punishment. In our league alone, I coach the Mariners in the Major League with Nick Edwards. We actually have a draft in 45 minutes. I coach them, so that's 12 through 10-year-olds. I'm coaching my son's team in the minor leagues. That's 8 through 10. I coach a travel baseball team that we started just from kids in our league, in the 8 and under division. So I don't see my wife much. And I think she sometimes prefers it that way. But no, it's watching these kids grow has, I mean, it makes me emotional at times. It really does. If you've not been, I mean, I've been to Little League facilities across the state, all over. There's no place like ours. There really isn't. If you drive down Main Street on a Saturday night with the lights on, cars all around, it really is a really, really cool feeling to see. I want my son. I don't want just my son. I want every kid on my team and every other kid in the league to experience playing at those facilities.
I think I was on Zoom. I was out of state when I think July.
Yes, sir.
You presented or Bill presented.
We try not to let Bill talk much.
So that's there and that's why you're up there. Is that, no, what was the reason it was turned down? I don't recall that because I was on Zoom and it cut in and
I
out.
think it just boiled down to the funds and we were in the red at the time. And so that's
Right.
the biggest art, we were in the
Sounds-
red.
What I heard, that sounds right. Well, I can simply say our daughter played softball, our son, Little League and all the way up and actually was third baseman for the varsity team
Sir.
when he was a senior. So,
Tyler?
yeah, I mean, the experience is just invaluable.
It is.
So I'm in favor of what you're doing. It comes down to funds, always comes down to funds.
Okay. Any further questions for Aaron?
I'm happy to answer anything.
Any action that anyone would like to take on their request for $50,000 from the food and beverage? I mean, Debbie's already given us the numbers. We do have 60, 70,000. As of February, slightly increased. It may be pushing 100 at this point with the March numbers that will come in.
I'd make a motion to approve that request for 50,000 out of food and beverage, knowing that we're bringing in net, anyway, 67 a month approximately, 60. And let me add a little bit more. When we were audited on food and beverage, and I remember Debbie saying that last year, I asked Corey Criswell, is everyone being audited? And he said, yes. I said, what was the outcome of that? And Corey said, the state indicated to him when he asked that we were a model as to how food and beverage should be used. But all food and beverages sunsets in 2040. It's initially 43, and I think by the time they implemented it was 2045. So everybody goes back in the hopper in 2045 after we're probably all off this. But if we're a model, and everybody's going to sunset in 2044, 45.
43.
Anyway,
Seriously.
that's a long way of saying I'd make a motion to approve that request.
Okay, so I have,
Can I say something?
yes, sir.
I know after the meeting we had last fall, I went out with Bill because there was some Coca-Cola guy out there and he took me around and showed me everything that they wanted to do and explained everything to me. And I think it's an awesome idea.
Thank you.
So is that a second?
I'll second it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Yes.
Have you sought funding from other sources?
We've done a lot of fundraising internally.
City of Newcastle?
Yes, sir.
Have they contributed?
Yes, sir.
How much?
40,000. Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the $50,000 award to the Newcastle Little League signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
And I would like to say that I would prefer to use the food and beverage for infrastructure. That's my preference, and I think it's a great project, and I think it's great for the kids, and I'm glad it passed.
And thank you.
Okay, motion carries 6-1. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you coming.
April 18th is our opening day.
That's an amazing,
Mornings when it starts.
that's an amazing day to go
You
by
guys
there.
are all invited out, check it out, all the kids will be out in uniform.
It is.
If you haven't been to one of those,
Listen to
there's
Red
hundreds
Hot
of
Blues
people.
going to sing again, or who's going to sing the anthem this year? Think-
Usually,
Red Hot Blues. Yeah, we always went with Emma for Red Hot Blues and saw it. So yeah. All right, thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Can you get
All right,
McKinley Brown to?
we have an addition, a late addition. Sheriff's Department asked to be put onto the agenda as well. So Josh, I'm not sure, Josh, is you taking the reins?
For approving the 50,000. My baseball is a huge part of my life and can't think of a greater program than Newcastle, Little League Baseball. A little bird told me, don't come up here asking for an additional 1 or 2 deputies right now. It's probably not great timing, so I took that advice. Though we would love to have that. I know the sheriff has advocated for it since 2023. What I'm handing out right now, just kind of show you the trend and call volume over the last 5 years.
That's staggering.
So thank you guys for adding us on late notice. We're requesting approval to establish an additional captain position within the sheriff's office leadership structure. which I realize that would be another salary ordinance, right, Debbie? At this time, we're not asking that the council fund this position during the current budget year. The sheriff's office, the sheriff believes that he can find the funding within our existing budget for the remainder of this year. Our request today is simply to approve the position, or I guess the salary ordinance. I know we have to type that up, but so that we can address the growing administrative and operational demands placed on the sheriff's office. We would then ask that this position be formally included in our budget beginning next year. Historically, the sheriff's office has operated with two captain positions, a patrol captain and a detective captain. In recent years, the administrative responsibilities of the office have grown significantly. Because of this, the patrol captain position was temporarily shifted into the administrative captain role in order to manage those increasing responsibilities. While that adjustment helped address administrative needs, it created a gap in patrol supervision. Our goal moving forward is to maintain a leadership structure that includes an administrative captain, patrol captain, and detective captain. This structure allows us to properly manage both the operational side of law enforcement and the growing administrative responsibilities placed on modern agencies. The operational workload of the sheriff's office has steadily increased over the past several years, and that's what you have in front of you. Calls for service handled by deputies show a clear upward trend. And I won't read all those numbers, but it's increased since 2020 from 6,746 to 8,620, which is an increase of 1,874 calls, or roughly 28%. That represents approximately 5 additional calls for service every single day compared to 2020. Importantly, this increase has occurred without an increase in deputy staffing. The same number of deputies and investigators are now handling significantly more workload. It is also important to note that under, I believe it was Sheriff Baker, Chief Deputy Davis could probably verify that, but we did lose a merit deputy position. I think we had 29 and it went down to 28, and we never regained that position. Today's deputies are responding to a higher number of calls for service with fewer personnel than the office previously had available. Since taking office, Sheriff Sproles has advocated for adding 2 merit deputy positions in order to maintain 5 deputies per shift, which provides stronger coverage and operational stability. Maintaining that level of staffing helps maintain consistent coverage, allowing deputies to attend training, allow deputies to earn or to use earned time off. We've all witnessed how much comp payout we have, and maintain operational efficiency. Now, like I said, it was my plan to come in here and ask for additional appropriations to fund another deputy, but I understand you guys are getting hit left and right with additional appropriations. So hopefully in the future, we can address that. Beyond responding to calls for service, the administrative workload of law enforcement has increased dramatically. And Chief Deputy Davis, I don't know if you realize that over the 24 years you were there, but it seems like there's a lot more getting thrown at you, I would assume, as the years went by. These responsibilities now include policy development and updates, training, documentation, and compliance, coordination with insurance carrier attorneys, public record requests, digital evidence management, such as body camera footage, which is a huge time eater. And, if we explore in-car cameras, that's just going to double. And fleet management and purchasing coordination. Historically, many of these responsibilities, not all, but many, were handled by the patrol captain or detective captain. Creating a dedicated administrative captain allows the office to properly manage these responsibilities without sacrificing operational leadership. Just want to reference state law real quick. Indiana law recognizes that larger counties require additional administrative leadership. Under Indiana Code 36-8-10-10, counties with populations exceeding 50,000 residents are permitted to establish an administrative rank within the sheriff's department. So basically an additional appointee in admin. Henry County currently has a population of approximately 49,000. That places us about 29th out of Indiana's 92 counties in population, the top third. The administrative demands placed on the sheriff's office reflect that reality, even though we fall slightly below the statutory threshold. So what that structure would look like, obviously you have the sheriff providing that overall leadership and direction for the agency, the chief deputy, which is myself, overseeing policy implementation and really day-to-day administrative coordination. Administrative captain, which is currently Captain Pierce is serving in. He's responsible for just administrative operations, training, fleet and purchasing, documentation oversight, also policy management, and there's a long list I will spare you. And then again, what this does, the patrol captain provides supervision for patrol deputies and field operations, and the detective captain oversees criminal investigations and investigative personnel. I'm about done. Again, we want to emphasize that we're not asking the council to fund this position this year. The sheriff's office will absorb the cost within our existing budget for the remainder of the year. Our request today is simply to approve the position or the salary ordinance that we haven't presented yet, but so we can properly structure the leadership of the department. In conversations with Councilman Tom, we've discussed the estimated financial impact, and that's approximately $16,000. For the remainder of the year, the sheriff's office intends to absorb that cost within our existing budget. And then next cycle, obviously, we would ask that that be figured in the budget.
You're gonna have to give me that breakdown.
Our goal is to ensure the sheriff's office continues to operate efficiently while meeting the growing demands placed on modern law enforcement agencies. Strong supervision, clear policy, proper training, and administrative oversight are some of the most effective ways to prevent small issues from becoming expensive problems. This leadership structure allows the sheriff's office to remain proactive rather than reactive while continuing to serve the citizens of Henry County effectively. We respectfully ask for your consideration and approval.
All right, Josh,
Yes,
some questions.
yes.
Are you taking a patrol deputy and putting them into this position and not replacing them?
So what,
Or,
I'll explain how that happened. So initially we tried to have one captain over both the detective and the patrol division.
yeah,
We ran into some just communication, just kind of a lack of representation, I guess. And we had moved Matt to the administrative captain. So now we realize that we don't want to move Matt back to patrol captain because we really do need the help. And we realize, but we also realize there's a lack of leadership over on the patrol side. And so technically, yes, we have just shorted us a guy from doing something.
So are you planning to fill that position?
Well, when I was prepared to ask for that, but I don't know if that may be something next, as we get into the budget time that we ask. But I mean, if you guys would approve an extra spot right now, that would be awesome, but I know that money is tight. But yes, we would like to do that.
Okay, I have other questions, if you
Okay.
don't mind, please. So the salary would be the salary of the captain, so that's where you're getting the $16,000 difference from, yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the salary of a captain is 78,825. And the assumption is that leadership ranks would just promote up. They're not going to promote a deputy to captain.
Correct.
But as the vacancies underneath of the captain are vacated, then everybody would move up, resulting in one less deputy salary, which is 62,800. So the difference is actually $16,025.
Okay. I guess,
Can I add one other thing?
yes, sir. Go ahead.
It's important to note also that a captain's salary right now is funded out of lit, and a deputy's salary is funded out of general fund. So a salary ordinance would have to be written out of the general fund, I assume, because I don't think we've got the dollars in lit.
And my other concern, I guess, Josh, is in my experience, the sheriff's department frequently comes for additional appropriations, especially at the end of the year, because your funds are already depleted. Even though you have one of the largest budgets in the county. If, that's my concern. If you come knocking in December, we're going to remind you that you said you had the funds to do this and you shouldn't need to come knocking. It'd be my thought in my head anyway, because that's a concern. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I know we have a sergeant spot that we have not filled yet. So that money has been sitting there for a few months. Typically we have some overtime left at the end of the year. We do pay out comp time with that. And vacation time, but we've went to a new, way of doing the vacation, paying guys to work vacation versus them saving their days and then having to pay at the end of the year. So we'll be able to track that money. But typically overtime, we've paid out, and Debbie, you can probably speak to that. We paid out a lot of comp time.
A lot of transferring into overtime from other lines.
yeah. And then I guess the other concern that we have on our agenda that we still haven't talked about is the immense changes in the insurance. And, going from $0 deductible to automobiles to now $100,000. I mean, basically we're uninsured on your car. So if you pull out of here and get in a wreck, where are we going to get that money at? Are you going to take that out of your car line? Or, that's going to be a big concern that is next on our agenda to discuss. So that's, because that opens us up to a great deal of potential liability, and especially an unknown liability. I don't know what the number is this council's going to have to come up with to set aside for deductibles, but I know we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year minimally on deductibles. It is be a guess based on the number of incidents and tort claims and everything else that we have facing us. And historically, and I'm sure they're going to keep rolling in. So that's something that I think we all have to be very cognizant of when it comes to the general fund monies. And then, I don't know, this impacts minimally, but it still impacts if you increase salary, you increase Social Security, Medicare, sheriff's retirement, all of those things get balked into and will have increased impact. So just the salary impact, and I've preached this for years, is not the only impact. For every dollar you raise, every dollar you raise, you spend $1.20 by the time you finish it. And that's with an employee under perf. I don't know exactly the math, which the sheriff's department, but I'm guessing it's pretty close. So that's, something we have to keep in mind, even not adding another employee. You go to add another employee, our average cost of insurance is pushing $20,000 a person. So that's a whole nother addition. So on top of the salaries to worry about. So those are my questions and concerns, and I'll open it up to the full field. I'd like to hear.
Ed, I know, when I was chief deputy, I would figure 128% of the salary we were looking at too.
So sheriff's retirement's even a little saltier than the perf, it sounds.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I did not have that number, Jeff.
I have a question or maybe even some information I'm gonna put out there, maybe more for the council, actually. And Josh, it may be a little bit for you to look at and researching, but during the time that Kim Cronk was sheriff, during those years, we had an administrative captain. And I wonder whatever happened to that position and is that ordinance still on the books, actually? That administrative captain was Butch Baker during that time period.
Probably would have been a salary ordinance.
And
Ordinance to create the position?
I would assume that there was an ordinance. I do know that that position was funded from outside the department at that time, but just going back and guessing that there may be an ordinance already on the books for an administrative captain.
Shannon, did we have a conversation about that?
We
feel like that-
And there was some discussion about was that maybe changed to the investigator at the prosecutor's office or something in there? I don't,
That's where
That's where it was funded
the
from?
Salary was funded through,
But there
through
could be an
there.
ordinance, so.
But it
And the
would have been
prosecutor's
a-
office reimbursed that salary at that time, but
wouldn't that just have been a salary ordinance from the
Yeah,
time?
Regular ordinance. It would have been a salary ordinance or would have been a regular one?
So we would have to
Yeah,
create a
during
new
the
salary
time,
ordinance anyway.
They left. They didn't get replaced. So that could have been one of the positions that got lost when Butch was in office.
Yeah.
and that's why I just brought it up. I knew that that was a position that we had during those 8 years and wasn't sure what happened with that or if there is an existing.
We talked a little bit before about what administrative stuff needs to be done, and we talked about reviewing camera footage, and you referred to it a little bit, and watching and noting and redacting and doing all of the things that have been done, and we've been hammered with a bunch of it. And the number of cameras at the old jail versus the number of cameras at this facility, plus the body cameras that you have, my understanding was the amount of video footage that you guys are having to go through for public information requests and information requests from attorneys and insurance companies has just skyrocketed.
You could get a full-time position just to do that.
Well, I'll just say, as far as insurance and administrative, I'm not saying anything against you. With all the tort claims,
Mhm.
with all the wrecks, I spend 2 full days at least a week doing nothing but on the phone with insurance companies, supplying them with this. So it's not just them
Sure.
that does it.
Sure.
Now, I'm going to go through every claim along with the commissioners that comes in. We all need more administrative help.
Sure,
I didn't come and ask for it, but we all need it.
understood. I just wanted to ask the question
And
about the video.
As a council member, I kind of like that. We've been really, I want to say, we've been lax on last minute decisions. I think we need more than just a chart. I think we need more in-depth discussion, more paperwork on why you need these and how the moves are going to be. I mean, if you're going to create a captain's position from a road deputy, how you're going to replace that road deputy. I think we just need more than just coming in here and standing up here, or anybody standing up here for 20, 30 minutes telling us that they need $78,000. I think we need more discussion on that as council members, and the money's getting tighter where we need to vote more for
Well,
this stuff.
we tabled ready because we didn't
Right.
have all the information we need. I agree. And I think it happens at the commissioner's level as well.
My office.
There's-
Spend a day with me.
Well, no,
after years.
nobody's saying that,
No,
no,
I'm not
no.
saying.
Nobody's saying it can't be done. Here's the problem is what Mike is saying is, then this has happened at the commissioners And it happened today with Corey Murphy with the Ready. We were handed the stuff today and said, hey, would you want to approve $250,000 or $550,000 for this project with just a map?
Yeah.
We have to do our
Thousand out of our own budget for this year. Maybe a little bit more because the social security and I'm not asking for $250,000.
and nobody's telling, Josh, please don't get angry. We all have a job to do.
That's
We all
not
have
what
a
I'm
job
saying.
to
I
do.
just think we need more time and more.
But we are the leadership of the sheriff's office and we report to you honestly what's going on. I don't know exactly, if you want a list of items for me to bring you, I'd be happy to prepare that. But just let me know exactly what you need and I don't have a problem.
Well, and apparently, I mean, you've been talking to Shannon. It would have been nice, maybe Shannon would have given all of us a heads up that said, hey, here's the information that we're looking at. Here's what you guys can look at, instead of, it's not even on the itinerary.
Right.
I mean, that's where, and we've had this discussion with other things before.
I honestly thought it was on the itinerary, but we never got an itinerary.
And I'm not singling you or the sheriff's department out. It's from everybody.
Debbie sends the itineraries out to all department heads.
I may not have got done, it's been crazy.
In
but
advance, but-
I was never contacted about it. This first I heard about it.
It's not fair to us as council members just to sit up here and somebody asks for so much money and expect an answer in a 30-minute meeting. Especially when it's a lot more money. And like you said, $16,000. I mean, it might not be a lot, but it's our job as stewards to the county to make sure we treat monies correctly.
And these moves are necessary for us. Everyone wants to talk about liability and torts, even though 95% of them have no merit, but insurance companies settle because it's cheaper.
Right.
You got an attorney that's responsible for 75% of the lawsuits. Tell me there's not something going on there. So I won't get into all of that, but it's, these people are personally attacking us. And, we want to talk about, these moves are necessary so we can stay on top of things, right? It takes so much work. We've done a lot of work. It takes so much work to get this done. And we risk burning people out if we don't have the help. You can't do everything. One or two people can't do everything. And that's why we pulled Matt into this position. So I understand now. I would be happy, Shannon, if you can coordinate exactly what the council would need from us.
I'll be happy to try. We had this discussion, you and I and Scott, 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. And we basically said, you guys need to decide whether you want to come ask for that with or without adding people and let us know. And, this was a last minute ad. I'm the little birdie that told Josh tonight's probably not a good night to come talk about this, but they felt the need because the workload is there. So it is what it is. I completely understand everybody else wanting to have more time to analyze and think about it too. So appreciate that.
Well,
That's reasonable.
Go ahead.
we have to have a salary ordinance. It's not even prepared, so we can't vote. There's nothing to vote on. Well,
Right.
yeah, we don't want to vote on it, right?
Right,
Okay, so we're,
right. There's nothing to vote on.
There's
and you
nothing
don't
to vote on.
You don't vote to say, okay, go ahead. There's,
You can vote without a salary ordinance and make it, and they can get it to us. It's been done a lot.
Yeah.
You can.
That's- That's pretty standard policy, really. It's happened almost all the time. It's pretty regular from the council perspective.
I guess
Go ahead.
not necessarily asking tonight that you say yet. I mean, that would be nice, but, just bringing this to the forefront and letting you know, now you know. Again, I would be happy to get whatever other information you all would want. Not a problem.
Josh, I think to recap what Mike's theory or what he was talking about, like planning commission, a lot of times we get information on pretty high profile cases at the meeting or maybe an hour before the meeting. or 2 hours before the meeting. And really, someone like me would like to be able to digest and ask questions and research. Eh, And the chairman of that committee, we had a talk earlier this week, and she was frustrated because, it's kind of like, I'd really like to have some of this information ahead of time to digest and maybe ask you or ask the sheriff or whoever. It is starting to pile up where we're confronted with important information just minutes or hours before a meeting, where I think most of us would like to study it and ask those questions. I don't think the question is that there's a need when this alone supports that there's a need. But in 2027, you're going to ask for 78 or whatever the new is, that this is a stopgap and it's not going to cost that much more and it's internal. But come next year, and we're getting hit with so much extra and additional appropriations and cost increases and whatnot. The money tree is getting chopped down. We have a good balance right now, but it's heading in directions that are, I don't know, it can't be supported if it keeps up the way it has the last year. So, but I think the thing is, we'd like to have this information ahead of time. Everything that we tabled, we might have been able to act on if we'd had information ahead of time.
Josh, I'm interested demeaning by my comments. I mean, it's just, I think we just need more information.
Okay. Well, I'll work with Shannon and Scott on whatever that information looks like. And yeah, we'll roll on from there. So thank you guys for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Something
So-
else you guys might want to know as well. I got an email from DLGF today asking why our CNAVs went down, because after we added our 2% homesteads and things, they took a major drop and they were questioning why.
What we do?
Our certified net assessed values after we added our homesteads took a major drop. So you guys might need to know that when you're doing things.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that's the comment I was going to make is I think we have so much uncertainty over what's coming out of Indianapolis and our future revenue streams that's why we're all extremely gun shy right now and having any reoccurring charges, that we have to sustain. Sheriff?
Yeah, just a quick question. So just being that you need the information, I'm assuming that you all will reach out to us for exactly what you want to see, and we'll be able to work through this and give you ample time to be back on the agenda next month. Is that what I'm?
Yes.
Okay.
Shannon.
That's all. Okay.
Shannon and Scott will head that up as your liaison.
They'll take questions from you guys and get them to us, and we'll get you the information and be back on the agenda. That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Steve, I hate to put you on the hot seat, but the next conversation is the insurance. And if you would like to join the conversation, be more than welcome to, but I think it bears a conversation because while we've got an immediate need of more than likely going to have to come up with an additional somewhere to pay this bill by the 21st that's looming. I'm assuming we're just going to go in the red and then we're just going to have to make up for it. Because I know Debbie's been crunching numbers. I've talked to her. You can sit over there if you want to. This is probably going to take a minute. Whatever.
Want to be here? No.
I know you
Do I
don't.
want to have this conversation? No.
I think we're forced to in this point, unfortunately, my
I'm
friend.
going to have to defer to Debbie because she's been crunching all these numbers.
She and I have spoken several times and she's crunched numbers and we've had conversations and I think when I first started talking to her about it and looking into it, hearing and talking, which you guys have done, the biggest impact is not only the bill, it's the deductibles. Because and Scott, you are in this industry, you understand the difference. The difference between a $0 deductible and a $100,000 deductible is like, oh my gosh, what happened? Because you're basically uninsured. I mean, if a sheriff's deputy pulls out here, slides off the road and hydroplanes in the rain and pray that they're fine, but if the car's totaled, we have zero insurance for all intents and purposes. So we now, whereas before, we just turned it into the insurance and we got the car replaced.
So I think I need to correct something. So our auto physical damage deductible is only 25,000.
Okay. Only
It's
25.
the auto liability of if a sheriff deputy goes out here and runs into
Yeah.
3 people, that one is the one that
Yeah,
goes to
but-
$250,000.
But the
But
cars
even
are
the
barely-
$25,000.
The cars are barely worth $25,000.
Yes, and general
Used to be-
liability has gone from 0 to 100.
Yeah, so
It's everybody's. It's everybody's. Yeah.
Basically, and this is the sad reality, you're correct. Short of a catastrophic earthquake, tornado, nuclear blast, we are self-insured at this point. Going forward, that's where you're at. Like it, not, it doesn't matter. And I'm not trying to be mean, and nasty to anybody. I deal in realities. This is the papers we're given. This is the insurance. Nobody wants to touch us. This is where we're at. So one way or the other, I don't know where you're going to come up with it without wiping out half the county's budgets, but somebody's going to have to come up with $1 million here in a few days. I don't know where you're going to get
I
it.
mean, in talking with Debbie,
Mm.
what, were we within a couple 100,000? I think if you add
We
all.
are, we.
We're within a couple 100,000 of the actual bill paying, but that's not
And
the
then you got
totality of it.
premiums after.
We currently do not have a fund anywhere in the county that just says for deductibles.
Mhm.
We do not have a line item anywhere in anybody's budget that says deductibles.
And we are going to pay those weekly.
Yes.
Just like we pay our insurance premium, our health insurance premium. They are going to send us bills weekly.
And Debbie already beat me to what I was going to say is that's going to cause a lot of administrative costs and expense along the way too, because if the auditor's office is going to have to maintain that and do that on top of the, and all the other things they normally do, whereas now we don't, they turn it, she still has to worry about it, turn it over, and the insurance company takes care of it and she coordinates, but now she's going to be on the front lines and she's going to be physically processing the claims.
They got only 9 more months.
Well, her office is going to, let me
And this
rephrase,
is
not
the sad
Debbie.
reality, because now you had to drag every other county entity into this because now everyone's affected as far as anybody has a vehicle, period.
Well, it's not just vehicles, it's everybody everywhere.
Mhm.
It's everybody.
Basically, you take a vehicle
every-
that's over 2 years old, we're going to pay for it.
So here's the bad part. So we got to figure this, but there was 2 departments that insurance liability was left in, EMS and highway. You wiped all the highways out by giving them this premium. Well, 911's, well, you took theirs out. You took the health department out. You took the park. Now what's the highway department going to do if they have something happen? They still had a liability line in theirs to pay it. As far as EMS, they still had a liability line. Highway department's more than doubled from last year to this year. It more than doubled.
And if you take EMS's line out for their insurance, here's their concern. They've got a premium payment due in June. So does this double up? Because they won't have it. If you take
Right.
their money to pay it now, they won't have it in June to pay. So we put them behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
So this
And
is a
their money is
catastrophic
not
avalanche.
taxpayer money. Their money is self-generated on
Mhm.
their runs and their insurance. We didn't hand them the money for that line. That's the money that they generate themselves.
Are there recommendations coming?
Well, I'm going to,
$1,000 administrative fee, we had to pay it. It's already paid. That's one we have other ones we pay quarterly, but we've already paid a $30,000 administrative fee we had to pay last week.
I think it was, yeah.
so here's where I think we're at. We have three things to tackle. We got to tackle the bill, which
Mhm.
is coming due. We've got to give some serious discussion to how we want to handle the deductible situation. Do we create funds? Where do we create funds? Do we create a fund for the sheriff's department and then create a fund for the rest of the county? Do we create, but I think we also have to keep things separate because the health department, the highway department and the park all are funds outside of the general fund levy. And then we haven't even mentioned community correction. Community corrections generates theirs from a grant, but we're still going to have to look at some type of a deductible fund because we're all aware of an issue that came out of the community corrections here recently, and they're not immune to the potential of claim. So we've got to discuss the deductibles and how we handle the deductibles. And then this year's budget session is going to be very interesting because I don't know what the trending is, Scott, but I would say that at this $1,076,000 premium is probably going to go up next year. I've been out of insurance for a few years, but the trending has not been pretty from what I've seen in my personal experience. I just got my renewals for my personal stuff and my business rentals and stuff. And so the trending is not pretty. So I'm assuming the trending has not been great and with all of the stuff going on. And we're at a very high risk category because of the claim history we have. Our claim history is dismal. It's terrible. I mean, it really is. And Josh, there's, maybe they're not all founded, but I'm sure they aren't, but it still hits our histories and it still adds every single one that hits the books. And we still have to defend every single one of those. And there's the deductible picture comes into play because we may be responsible for paying all of those deductibles that are out
The
there.
other sad reality was you got other departments that there were no issue, but your insurance carrier would not separate between law enforcement and the rest of your vehicles as far as in the county, because they figured that's where they're going to make money off of us. There are no claims in those.
My understanding is that they wouldn't separate it because if they did separate it, they wouldn't cover the law enforcement section of the.
Separate it, but we could not financially afford it. It wasn't
Yes.
even in
Yeah.
the realm of what we could look at.
Yeah.
So we were left with no option other than do what we're doing now.
So for all intents and purposes, we're self-insured now.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have is catastrophic coverage. And
I mean-
so I guess we eat this elephant one bite at a time, and we've got to, Debbie, I don't know, do you have an exact number that we need to consider? And even if, I mean, obviously we're going to have to pull it out of the unappropriated fund.
Right now, we can make it work with what we have,
Okay.
but come July, when all of our other ones are due, that's when we're gonna know an exact amount. Right now, we can make it due, but July we can't. But I have to know when we get a claim in, where do I pay it? from?
Where do we pay the claims?
But we've pulled it all out to pay the premium.
I don't have any
I
place
know,
to pay
I
one. I've
know.
never paid one. So
Right.
where does it come from?
Yeah, so that's where we're going to, like I said, we're going to have to create we already have the line items for the premiums. I think we've got to create line items in, whether it's in the council budget, commissioner's budget for a deductible line item for the general levy. We have to create one for the sheriff's department. We have to create one for the park, for the highway department, for the health department, and probably community corrections, since all of,
Community corrections have to do it themselves because it's a grant, so she'll have to write it in a grant. So
Yeah.
it'll probably more than likely, she just submitted the grant.
We'll have to do one for
Resubmitted
EMS.
before
yeah,
it
and
goes
EMS. I hadn't got to EMS as well. And we'll have to create those as non-reverting funds would be my recommendation.
And you have other departments that fall under the commissioners where there's
Yeah,
vehicles.
well, that's anything else, anything under the general fund levy, which is most everything,
General fund.
Yeah.
general
Commissioners is
fund
under-
levy.
Yeah, all of them will be under
That's what I
you.
mean, those.
We have,
Yeah.
we have vehicles out with the surveyor, we have vehicles out with
EMA,
EMA.
Health department.
health-
department.
Well, health department would have their own,
Weights and measures.
weights and measures,
Building inspector.
building inspectors. I mean, so it's not just the highway and sheriff who have vehicles, it's everybody.
Is there a
And
reason that Knightstown ambulance, we have that? I mean,
Yes, we bought it from them. We bought Knightstown ambulance from them.
yes.
We actually
Years ago?
paid for,
Mandy paid off actually Henry County EMS paid off the lease.
That's been
Okay.
2 or 3
Yeah, that's been 2 or 3 years ago.
because those
I
actually
don't even know if
somehow
that
were
ambulance is still in
funded
service.
through the commissioners and nobody really knows how that was prior to all.
That was that magic $10,000 that was in the budget.
15.
or
Yes,
15,
15.
15 that was in the budget when you and I first got
I
elected.
remember those
And
conversations.
Me,
at budget
Susan and
time.
others
Yes.
really
And-
went to town on it.
You, Scott, you both have pretty extensive insurance backgrounds. Is this something that you can get with Debbie and Steve and make a recommendation, or do you need something tonight?
Well, she's going to have claims that have
Every
to be paid.
Do you have
Now,
a
I don't know that
recommendation?
we'll have any that'll fly in the next month. I'm happy to work with Debbie, but I think that we have to start we have to start the discussion and decide, one, what do we fund? How do we fund it? And how much? I mean,
Well, that's what's, how would you know? I
Well,
mean,
it's
I
like
don't.
we
have the
don't
phone,
know.
How much to fund.
we don't know what we don't know. And so that's what I'm afraid of. Could be a moving target. We could fund $100,000 and never use it, or we could fund $1 million and she come to us next month and say, hey, we're broke already and this fund's in the red.
So what,
So
where do we start?
that is,
Well, let's start with something.
That is-
Let's create.
A
the
million
funds.
too, I think.
The first thing to do is make
I
a motion
agree,
to
is to-
create the funds under each one of the departments.
and then.
That's easy to do.
And I guess for now, we could let them run red and then we would have to do the additional out of the additional to correct it. That's what my recommendation was going to be as well, is to go ahead and create the funds and then try to, I guess I would want to sit down with Estill, because Josh and Scott, maybe Steve, I mean, and try to get what, based on our historical data, which Estill has a very good grasp of, would be able to give us a recommendation of what he thought was a reasonable estimate as because it's just, so like our health insurance.
Mhm.
Our health insurance, this is what he says is the estimated.
Yep.
I'm sure Josh could come up with something in that realm that would be an estimated amount.
That would be helpful. That's better than throwing darts.
That was my thought. That was my recommendation was going to be, we create the funds for the time being, let them roll in the red and pray that they don't go in the red at all. And we don't have a claim turned in between when this started on March 1st and our meeting next month. And then hopefully within next month, or possibly if it has to go longer than that, that we can come up with a number, but that number, I'm afraid, is going to be significant. We're not talking about $20. We're probably talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I had to make a guess, would you not guess that would be a
At least, yeah.
comfortable number, Scott? We're talking hundreds of thousands,
Well,
half a million dollars.
If you just have one incident with just taking one of each line of the deductibles, you're looking at $900,000.
Yeah.
I'm just roughly adding it in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What I'm struggling with why we need to create them in each department. Why couldn't we just create a line in the rainy day fund for deductibles?
You
And
don't have the money in there. How you
we would
gonna
have to allocate it. I understand that.
Well,
The reason we would,
because there's different taxing units.
because the
number
different
one.
taxing units and the different levy units and, the
And-
different funds, that's the reason to create it in all the funds.
Highway,
And well,
I mean, the sheriff's going to be under the general fund anyway, unless we put it in lit, and there's no money in lit.
correct.
So it's gonna it's gonna come out of the general fund.
Well, and that's why you have the one for the general fund. I mean, you can put them all under the commissioners. I would not put it in the rainy day fund under the council. I would put it, I mean,
guess I was thinking
if you
that.
wanted to just do it all in one, you would do it under the commissioner's budget, but you need to keep them out with the general fund, the sheriff. You need to keep them separate, in my
I
opinion.
think
You can
that,
ask Joel to do the ordinance for the.
Non-reverting
You would have to
fund.
set up a non-reverting
Yeah,
fund by
he
ordinance, so
can
yeah, we
ask
can
Joel
do
to
that.
That's essentially the same
I
thing
don't
else.
think
Yeah.
the county general fund can take hit of every single
No.
department. We're taking a hit with their insurance and their liability insurance this year. And we just really, it was probably, I mean, with all of it being in there, that's why we're hurting so bad, because the health, 911 and park, they didn't pay their liability
They
insurance.
didn't
this year.
last year either, or the few years before.
Yeah, they've had them, we've always billed them. This is the first year we haven't billed them. We billed them last year because we have the letter where we sent them, but we built them.
Yeah, because
So-
taking the liability out of the highway and putting it to the general fund was the highway's shot in the arm, right, Debbie?
No,
it was the health, it was the health
Health
insurance.
insurance,
Health
excuse me.
insurance
Okay,
that we
sorry.
did that for.
I
Now,
misspoke.
based on what Shannon said, I think he's probably more right. You probably should just have one fund. Otherwise, you're going to have one department that goes 12 years without an accident. You'd be accumulating like crazy and you'll have other funds that'll be short. And then you have to do actuarial math for each department. How many vehicles you have, how many hours you drive, how much do we budget for them each year? Throw it into one fund, reduce the work.
Well, but the monies come out of different
Taxing unit.
taxing units and levy units. And so that's where that gets,
And that all changes here in a couple of years, right?
no.
Well, some
Some of it does, but
Right.
no, not really, because they all come out separately and, no, we're never, the park, the health, they're always going to be separate. EMS is always going to be
Right.
separate. The highway is always going to be separate. Really, there's no, even when the change from SDA 1 finally takes place, none of those will change.
that part's right, but
Also lit.
From the park and use that.
are you really going to try to budget how much the deductibles are going to be for each one? Because that's like impossible.
Well, we go on.
I think that's the only way you manage it is to keep them separate. So I would not want to, I mean, the sheriff's department budget is the sheriff's department has more claims than any other department.
Right,
combined.
right.
And keeping them separate so we can have a way of managing that and budgeting that and seeing the trending, that's what I would want to see.
Right, but we can do it.
That's
Hey,
that's.
Scott,
I understand what you're saying, but there are such small numbers.
I know.
How many vehicles does the building inspector have?
I'm just saying.
One? You can't,
You want to do it in one?
But that's where,
Yeah,
that's
budget
where,
that,
that's where we would have
Yeah,
that
that's
general
what I'm saying.
fund. You okay, man?
So if,
Sure.
you're right.
Yep, I'm okay. It's just going off because it's a stupid thing.
Okay.
Also, because your building inspector.
Well, we've got the coroner and an EMS director, so either way you go, he's covered.
surveyor,
And the health department guy,
all
we're
of
good.
those have just one vehicle.
right. And the point is, how are you going to set a budget?
EMA has one. I mean,
Right, one
most of those have
vehicle,
just One.
5 years, you accumulate $5,000, whatever. One claim, you could be out of the budget. That's the point I'm trying to make. The
Sorry.
numbers are so small in some of these departments, you can't get true actuarial math to cover them all. That's why you need one.
Well, I don't think we can do actuarial math to cover deductibles.
That's what we're going to have to do.
But there you go, Scott, that's your job. You're you're a financial
Josh has to-
advisor. There you go.
Steve.
There's just, you know,
Well, I mean, we basically do that with the health insurance.
Right.
We basically do that because we're self-insured on the health insurance. So we basically do that with the health insurance and we already split that up with those same departments and it works that same way. So I'm not sure.
What it does is change the way the levy works. We put it in the general fund and then more money goes into the general fund instead of, I mean.
Yeah, but I can't, I mean, the amount that we would put into the health department and the park would be more because they have a lot more potential liability. The health department would be less. EMS, that's a good question. I mean, they operate vehicles and they have there's obviously potential liability there in what they do, just built in inherent liability. And so, I mean,
In 2023, EMS was 15 grand and this year we budgeted 25.
yeah.
for liability.
For liability insurance.
And we picked up, commissioners picked up part of theirs last year.
Well, Josh, we're able to do the health because Josh helps manage that and makes recommendations.
He's the one that gives us the estimated number. He'll give us this is the estimated number. And when you and I first came into office, we started budgeting over the estimate to try to build up that fund
Which has
and
been
making it there.
successful.
And now it's been very successful in the way it's been done. So that's where I'm trying to mirror kind of what we do in the health insurance side and have been very successful over the last 8 years in doing that way. And we've built the health insurance fund up to where it has roughly, it's got over 1.5, I believe, last check, 1.6 million in reserves that we've built up in there. So we stopped budgeting the full estimate and we stopped budgeting over estimate. We started budgeting estimate. So that was able to free up funds.
What is needed tonight? What's the
I
priority?
think the priority tonight is to create the funds. It's a matter of the discussion of how we want to create the funds for the deductible, for the non-reverting funds for the
I
deductibles.
hear two
My recommendation was to create non-reverting funds for each of the individual entities that the revenue comes outside the general fund, and then create one in the sheriff's department as well inside the general fund, as well as the commissioners would make sense, because that's where the liability insurance comes out of as well. So for the general fund, so create have a true number of what the sheriff's liability costs and a true number of what the other general liability costs, and that way it keeps that separate inside the general fund. Everything outside the general fund would have their own separate
Yep.
deductible fund as well.
We set amounts.
I don't think we can set amounts
we can't do
tonight,
that
because
now.
we would literally just be closing our eyes and
Yeah.
throwing a dart, you know?
Yeah.
That's where I think sitting down with Estel and having him trying to run some of those reports
Yep.
to give a rough actual or actuarial estimate as to what it would be a good rough. And the thing is he may come back with a massive number. We're not going to build it up overnight. We're going to have to ramp up the period and then see where we're at in budget session and make a appropriate decision, because it may be our predecessors 5 years down the road who adjusted like we have now, Kenan. When you and I started versus today, we've adjusted what we budget for the health insurance, because we've reached that pivot point to where we aren't in dire straits, and we didn't come in at $750,000 in the hole like you and I did.
And Debbie and I are saying 9 months down the road.
Yeah.
I guess I have a couple questions going back to that. One question is, we're trying to come up with this money. I know it is, but again, your highway department who's hurting for money, Mandy, we took everybody else's liability away except those two. Because we even in the park last year had to do we had to add into theirs last year. So it was in every fund last year. That's my one question. I mean, it's in the lit. We've taken it out of the lit. I have a claim from the highway for it. I don't know if I have one from Mandy yet, but what if something happens to them? Were you gonna, these other ones, at least this year, didn't have it taken out of theirs, so they have something to pay if something happens this year?
Well, I think
Question.
the question is, so the thing is I'm not, I think we completely all understand that we're going to have to do additional appropriations out of the unappropriated general fund to cover everybody's deductible this year, because nobody has deductibles this year. No one has a deductible line item in their budget. No one. So I think the only thing we're going to be able to do is do an additional appropriation out of the unappropriated general fund. The $11 million that's in that fund.
Not $11
It's
million.
not. Right now, it's
Right now it's
Okay,
9.
well,
but I'm not worried about that, but it's,
we haven't gotten to, yeah, but
you could, if you can't get a number and a claim comes in from Josh and the fund's open, we can run it in the red to do an additional appropriation for not very long.
yeah, well,
But
I
we
mean,
can do that. I mean, I don't think you have to come up.
I think we have to do, but like I said, we got to eat this elephant one bite at a time. And the first bite is to create these deductible funds. The second bite is to come back next month and hopefully get a rough number that we can start the process for an additional appropriation to give those funds a shot in the arm. And whatever that number is, $500,000 or whatever, divided out between those funds. And then we reevaluate come budget time as to how we need to appropriate that and adjust the levy accordingly for the levy funds, and then adjust the budgets accordingly for the funds that are outside of the levy.
What
Like the highway.
do right now?
They create the funds. It's just a matter of discussion as how we want to create the funds. If we want one,
Isn't Hancock County self-insured?
They are self-insured. Same thing you guys are doing. They're set up,
Up the.
they set up a fund the same way.
Okay.
yeah, they do for each of their taxing levies.
Oh, I'm not.
No, they,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking about framework, not dollars.
yeah.
They're not Hamilton County. They don't have streets of gold, but they're at the bronze or silver. Yeah.
They're shiny at least.
They're at the bronze
They're
level.
shiny. Ours has got potholes over here. so.
Mhm.
Estimating budgets right now,
Mhm.
or as part of the year.
Let me,
Figure out how to fix it.
let me ask another question. Rather than pull the dollars from highway and EMS, there's 4 places where we budgeted for the insurance. right? Commissioners, sheriff, highway, and EMS.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? And the
Community
total,
corrections, because it's written in their.
right,
grant,
and
so we
that's,
have to.
yeah, I didn't look through those.
Yeah.
You got $1 million bill coming due. There's 900 and some thousand, we budgeted 991 in commissioner's budget. Some of that's been spent.
And a lot of it would be spent. I mean, there's a lot more bills that come in, but yes.
So that, those dollars were those, and though they were intended for our insurance bills, right?
They were for the actual bill, not,
Premium,
not the
yeah.
premium, not the
Not the
deductible.
Premium, right? And there's 349, 775 in the sheriff's budget in lit.
We took that out.
So you took that out to pay this bill?
Yeah.
We took out their portion, we took out the highways portion, we took out EMS's portion to pay this bill, yes.
Okay, so we have enough to pay the bill.
We have enough to pay the bill, but we won't have enough to finish the commissioners out for the year.
Sure, understood.
Yeah, but we
understood.
have enough to pay the, I would have to run them in the red to pay the bill. I mean, I have to have it paid by 20.
I still have my other concern with the EMS is they budgeted for that payment coming due now.
Mm-hmm.
So if this negates a June payment, then they're gonna be okay because they just gave it up for this payment. But if you hit them again in June, they can't do it.
Yeah, and
What,
I think we're talking about bite number 2 or bite number 3 of this elephant. We're gonna have to address that down the road in this additional stuff.
Last year on several of them, the commissioners had to pick up because we went from 400 and some thousand to 800 last year. So the
Right.
commissioners had to pick a lot up last year, but then people couldn't pay.
Well, you just,
December, our insurance liabilities, since December of 23, our insurance liabilities almost tripled.
Yep.
Yeah.
on what you just paid, Debbie, that covers us through when?
March 27th,
Okay,
April.
March 1st.
So-
so that's an annual amount that's been paid.
So like I said, I think the first
That's an annual amount that has been paid.
tackle,
March 1st.
That we had to come up with.
That was a quarterly, but I can't.
There's been so many numbers. It's so confusing.
They're not- it's
Yes,
just
there
making
was
more
one,
work.
but I don't remember what it was. It's written down somewhere, but I don't know.
Don't feel bad. I didn't know what it was. That's why I was asking.
But I mean, we've had so many numbers and so many things thrown at us.
Yes, ma'am.
But with that being said, we usually pay quarterly. Our quarterly, oh no, that is administrative fees. It could be up to that much. Administrative fees that we'll pay quarterly for all of the work claims and stuff that they work on for the other game.
okay.
I'm just trying to make sure everybody understands that there's other little hidden things that's gonna fly up in front of all of us.
We have 11 insurance companies.
Mhm.
So I think we have, like I said, I think the biggest thing we have to tackle is we have to start getting the ball rolling on setting up where Debbie pays the claims from. So my recommendation was that we set up this non-reverting fund for the health department, the park, EMS, highway, commissioners fund, sheriff's department, and community corrections.
So
So I will make that as a rare motion from the chair.
Can you repeat? Health,
Sure. Health,
highway,
park, EMS, highway, commissioner, sheriff, and community corrections. And I covered them all, right? Bobby,
Community
Debbie?
Corrections will have to come out of the commission.
Yeah, I know it will, but we have to have a fund set up to pay. If you need to pay something from, you'll need a line item to pay it from. So that's the reason I did it there. Does that make sense? Okay. Did I miss any departments that you know of?
I would second that motion.
EMS and highway, is that what you said?
Health, park, EMS, highway, commissioner, sheriff, and community corrections.
I would second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
I'll filibuster till Shannon comes back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I wanted to do the same thing. He's back in. So, Shannon, I made a rare motion from the chair to create the deductible, non-reverting funds and all of those health, park, EMS, highway, commissioner, sheriff, and community corrections. Kenan, seconded the motion. The discussion is that as of right now, that at least gives Debbie a place to start paying claims from, knowing there's $0 in those newly created funds. And then we're going to have to address that.
So now we're open for comment.
Yes, sir.
Can I make one?
Yes, sir. You're up.
We just established that 2/3 of those funds don't have the money and the commissioners had to pick it up anyway. I think we're creating a lot of work for ourselves. I say ourselves when I really mean Debbie in her office. But
My thing would be Shannon on that. It depends on how you want to
to
keep,
track it,
track it. If you want to
Completely-
track it.
completely
But
agree.
that's up to you guys. I don't care, but if
Completely agree. I'm happy to track it and I think we need to track it. I feel like the money's all gonna come from the general fund anyway. So it maybe we want to track sheriff's department separate from everybody else. That's fine too. Those are both funded out of the general fund. They have their own general fund lines. We can create two and have a lot less work on your department is what
So
I was
what
trying to get
you
at.
could do.
I don't care if you
is-
create as many of them as you want.
Nah, you could, if the commissioners are going to pay it, one fund and a line for each department.
Well, the other
But the other taxing unit.
taxing units, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look forward to when we sit down for budgets this year.
But they don't have money anyway.
They don't have money this year, but I'm going to push that we budget money for next year.
And that, all that
Because-
does is there's the, all you're doing is making their piece of the pie a little bigger and making the general fund a little smaller. It doesn't make the pie any bigger.
Well, most of these, the funds that are under the levy, which is the ones you're talking about, their fund got much bigger this year anyway with the increase in
I-
the max levy.
I think we're getting way deep in the weeds. We can always make a change. Let's just make a dang dong decision tonight. And if we don't like it, we can change it.
So can I make a suggestion? You do a fund from the commissioners this year line, because you know it's coming from county general this year. Nobody has the money to pay it. At budget time, you create those funds for
Right.
that department.
Exactly.
And then, because it's not going to be till next year, you can pay out of those.
And then we'll know what
And
we're
then-
paying out.
Exactly.
Well, the only, and again, this goes back to, I would like the way to track it with each individual department. And that's what I'm going to ask from the insurance company is to give us an estimate for each of these that get the bill. What do you estimate that we need to have in reserve for each of these funds, each of these departments? Because they will have historical data to give us that.
It's gonna be probably a 3-year period before you're gonna start seeing.
Right.
come back down.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna,
But I don't know if you've got people that track it.
Well, okay.
okay, so let's circle back. I mean, if there's any more probative discussion, we'll go, but we do have a motion and a second on the table. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Steve, I'm sorry to put you on the hot seat, but you understand why I had to. Appreciate it. But we do have a motion and a second, so we do need to address that, but I'm open to additional probative discussion. Anybody have anything more we want to say?
Let's just take a vote and see.
Let's take a vote and see what happens then. I'm with Bobby. Okay, so all those in favor of creating these deductible, non-reverting funds, asking Joel to put that together for us in an ordinance, which we'll have to pass in a future meeting, but we can pass it today and knowing we'll sign it in future meeting. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay, so
And this can always be changed.
it can be
You
changed,
just
but
need to take the first bite.
we got to do exactly. We got to get started. We got to start this ball rolling. So we have motion 6-0 with one abstention. Okay. Any other business from the council? Anybody from the council have any?
No, I just want to say one thing, and Gabe's not here, but, so Gabe's last day was on Friday. I know we've hired, Kyle Cole, for weights and measures, but, I worked closely with Gabe as a commissioner and, we still communicate and he has taken another position in Hamilton County. I want to wish him the best of luck and thank him for everything that he has done over the last 4 years when he went full-time to weights and measures. He has taken that department to a level that the state director recognizes, and they are starting to implement the things that he implemented here at the state level. So I wish Gabe Beatty all the best in the world. I wish he could come back here, but because he was great, nothing against Kyle Cole. But wish him nothing but best in the world.
I absolutely agree with that, and I'll be the first to admit that I wasn't thrilled when they just, the
I know, I had
discussion
to
was
fight you.
talking about taking it, but I also based it on historical data, not Gabe, and Gabe did a phenomenal job
he
at
did.
that position. And I do again wish him all the best in the world, because I
would like
stand
to
corrected. That's
second
one
your
thing.
two accolades.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was not too sure about when it first happened, but he did an amazing job in that
I'd
position.
like to make a recommendation for people to sign up for the AIC East Central Indiana District on 4/16 so we can better understand House Bill 1210.
Yes, that is coming up. The district meeting is coming up, so please make sure you, if you can make it, that would be great. It's just an evening type deal. Go to the, it's at Shelbyville, was it Horseshoe Casino? Yeah, you should have gotten an email on that. If you didn't, let me know. I'll make sure you get it out. You should have also gotten like a mailer in the mail, I think. Yeah, you should have gotten a mailer in the mail. So if you didn't get it, let me know. I'll make sure everybody gets that. Any other comments? Yes, Mike. go
I just
ahead.
want to thank Debbie and her department and everybody else that worked on this insurance, because every time I've been up there, I'm retired now and I get a chance to go up there. They're working on it.
It's
Just want to
it's
tell
a
them thank you.
nightmare.
And I said everybody else worked on it. Steve too.
All right. Anything else? How about from the public and department heads? Anybody out there? Anybody, last chance? Motion, I got it. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Minutes.